Hello. So today I'm going to show you how to make a project bag that you can carry your cross stitch in or your crochet, embroidery, knitting, whatever you want to carry in there. But it's going to look like this with a zipper, and it is aligned as well, of course. And I'm also going to show you how to make a small zippered bag that you can carry your notions in or your embroidery floss that fits perfectly in there so you can take your work on the go. This is so easy to make. It only takes like a couple hours, so let's get started. To get started, you need to cut out your fabric. I will put the measurements up on the screen as well as in the description. You're gonna need fabric for the outside and the lining, as well as a zipper. And if you wanna make a little zipper pouch to match, you're also going to need fabric for the outside, the lining, and a zipper as well. I think this is how I want it to look, the front piece. So what we're gonna do is sew the zipper on first, and I'm going to lay down the piece I want on front, and then I'm gonna take the zipper and I'm going to put it upside down like this on the very bottom there. And then I'm gonna take the lining piece right here, I'm gonna place it on top so the right sides will be together. And then I'm gonna sew with the zipper foot on. So I'm gonna start on the opposite side of the zipper pole. The pole is gonna be down here, and I'm just gonna sew along the edge. When I get to the very bottom, I'm going to lift my foot. I'm keeping my needle in the fabric, and I'm gonna unzip the zipper just a little bit past the zipper foot if I can. So now the zipper is in place. I'm gonna go ahead and press the seams on both sides with an iron. And now it should look like this, nice and pressed on there. So now you're gonna take the bottom front piece and you're gonna take your little zipper that you just sewed and you're gonna place it like this. So then it's gonna look like that. This is gonna be the lining right here, and this is the outside. And then I'm gonna place the lining front piece right on top, and we're gonna do the same thing and just sew along the zipper, sewing all of this together. So now if we open this up like this, you can see that the zipper is sewn on there, and this will be what the lining looks like. And I'm gonna go ahead and press these seams now on both sides. Everything is all pressed now, looking beautiful. So now we are going to assemble the bag. This is the back lining piece. I'm gonna lay it down like this. And now I'm gonna place the zipper piece that we just sewed on top of this. By the way, I did trim the edges because one side was a little off over here. I don't know what happened, but I just trimmed it right off, and it looks like they match up pretty well. And then we're gonna take the back outside piece and place that on top of this. And then I'm just gonna sew the top together right now. So I'm gonna make sure all of my pieces are lined up correctly. And then I'm gonna sew probably a 1/2 inch, I think, seam allowance on the top. All right, so with that sewed, we're gonna open it up, and what we're gonna do now is sew our outside pieces together. So I'm gonna take my front and my back, and I'm gonna sew the bottom together using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I sewed the bottom of the front and back together, and now I'm gonna sew the bottom of the lining. I absolutely forgot to leave a space in the bottom so you can turn your bag inside out. So I'm just gonna go through and seam rip about, I don't know, 3 inches or so in the middle of the bottom so I can, turn it inside out later. It's always a good day when I get the seam rubber out. Okay, there we go. I just opened it up about 3 inches, and I'm gonna leave it like that. So now with the outside piece and the lining bottoms sewed together, I'm going to lay it like this, like we had it before, with the zipper right here and the bottom pieces that we sewed on the bottom that are open. You gotta make sure for this part to open up your zipper. There it is. So just open it up a little bit so we can make sure to turn it inside out. If not, well, you're gonna have a hard time getting in there. It's possible, but it's difficult. And then we're gonna sew the sides together. So I'm gonna make sure they're all lined up, and I'm going to just sew straight down through all of the layers on both sides. Also, I do realize I have a huge gap right here for my zipper, so I might be sewing pretty close to it, probably on the edge here, about 1 inch almost. I did not think about that when I was making my pattern, but now I know. And now I'm gonna trim up my edge here so it's not so thick on this side. And I'm gonna do the same thing to this side. The sides are sewn, the top is sewn, the bottoms are sewn, and they're separated. So now I'm gonna cut my corners. So when you turn it inside out, the corners won't be so bunchy and you'll get a nice sharp corner. And then I'm going to go through the hole here that we made, and I'm gonna turn everything inside out. And I'm gonna poke my corners out as best as I can. And as of right now, it is inside out. So this opening right here, I'm going to press it so it's nice and sharp, and then I'm gonna sew it together with my machine. When sewing this bottom piece, you wanna make sure that the front piece is not stuck in there. You're only sewing the lining pieces together. And I'm gonna go really close to the edge. There we go, sewed together, all nice. So now I'm gonna turn it so we can see what it looks like. Make sure to poke all the corners out. Oh, look at that, so cute. And then you can go around and press the edges so they're nice and crisp. There we go. It's done. So cute. And now we're gonna sew a little zipper bag that matches to go inside that looks just like this. I use mine to hold all of my floss and my scissors and anything else that goes along with my cross stitch. So for this bag, I have two 6x8" pieces. This is gonna be the outside and this is gonna be the lining. And then I have a 7" zipper. So you're gonna take one piece of the lining and place your zipper on there right side up. And you're gonna take your outside piece, put that on top so the right sides are facing together. And now I'm gonna sew the edge, make sure everything is lined up. And I'm sewing a little bit below the zipper again. I'm gonna sew down here and then open up the zipper and sew this last bit at the very end. Okay, so now that that's sewed, this is what it looks like. And we're gonna take our other piece of lining, place it like this, and you're gonna take your zipper and put it like this. So the zipper pole is gonna be on the right side now. And then you're gonna take your other outside piece and place that on top of the zipper. And you're gonna line those pieces up and you're gonna sew down the edge, just like we did for the first piece. Stop, and then I'm gonna open up my zipper. So these are all sewn together. So now I'm going to press the seams so they're nice and flat on both sides. And then I'm gonna sew a top stitch on the very edge here of the zipper. My seams are pressed nicely and I'm just gonna sew right along the edge. Here we go. Right there and on the back. And then now I'm gonna flip it over and do it to this side. Now we're gonna open up the zipper and we're gonna take the outside pieces and the lining pieces like this. We're gonna sew them together. So the zipper is a little bulky, but I'm gonna kind of pinch it so it's facing, like the zipper teeth are facing towards the lining. And what we're gonna do is sew all the way around the edge, but we're gonna leave a gap in the lining so we can turn it inside out. So I'm gonna make sure everything is lined up. And also, once again, my zipper has a little bit of a gap, so I'm gonna go in probably 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. And now I'm gonna trim the edges just to make sure everything is nice and even, because this side is definitely not. And then we're also going to trim the corners, and then we're gonna turn it inside out through the hole you left in the lining. And you're gonna bring the lining out and make sure you poke your corners out. And now I'm gonna go press this opening flat so I can do a little top stitch and sew the hole shut. There we go, hole is shut. I'm gonna put the lining into the bag and that's it. So now we have our main project bag right here and a little bag that matches to go inside. And that's it. That is all there is to this project. So here it is. I also recently made another project bag, which is simply just a larger version of the zipper pouch. This one matches with this little one. It's just a bigger version of this. All you need to do is get a bigger zipper and then cut out a larger rectangle, and then you can make a larger bag just like this. In this one, I put pockets. There are 2 of them, and I totally forgot to put a pocket in here, which usually I put pockets in everything because I love pockets so much, but I totally forgot. So if you want to add a pocket, it's so easy. You would just need to sew it onto the lining. I will link a video to this patchwork tote bag because I put pockets on the inside and I give a tutorial on how to do that. So if you want to put a pocket into your project bag, you can refer to that video and it's the same exact thing. Just sew it onto your lining piece before you sew everything together and that's it. So easy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope everything made sense for you. Please give this video a like. It really helps me out. It helps boost the video out as well. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.